Okay, we got a trial now. Boop. Oh my god, it feels like forever since we've been in a trial, said nobody ever. There's that old familiar smell again. The crushing pressure of this historic courthouse. Dots. Actually, no, it's a little different today. There's an even more menacing tension in the air. There is a menacing tension in the air here today, isn't there? I suppose. Yes, I think so. Hello. It can only be the result of the menacing appearance of the defendant. A little more courtesy, if you please. Oh my, I do apologize. However, you're certainly not mistaken that this trial is far from ordinary. What do you mean? I'm not privy to the details. However, I understand that no jury has been selected. What? A trial without a jury? Well, that's just like the first...
The Reaper case. It was in a closed trial.
Ooh. I was gonna say the...
Oh, professors.
Yeah. I was gonna say the Ace Attorney games. The main series. A closed court. Hello! Good morning, my dear fellows! Mr. Sholmes!
Van Zieks just jacks Mr. Sholmes.
Ah! You scared me! Have you made note of my hair, Mr. Naruto? An outright victory for science, you must agree. To be perfectly honest, so much happened yesterday that, well, I completely forgot about your little hair problem. How dare you! What to one man is a little hair problem, is to another a day of drinking dubious potion after dubious potion. You have no idea how my stomach ails me this morning.
Oh no, I know. I heard you this morning.
Oh dear, how awful for you.
Here, have some Pepto.
No, that will turn my... Sorry, I keep mixing... I've done Van Zieks so much today. I'm afraid that will turn my hair
That's
pink.
Rinosuke.
I'm afraid you only have yourself to blame, Mr. Sholmes. And good morning to you, Mr. Reaper. I'm delighted to see you looking so full of vim. And I see London's celebrated great detective is as active as ever. We never get these two talking to each other. Like, there was one case in the last game where these two were even on screen together, and that was it. Oh, you exaggerate, my dear fellow, compared to my paltry engagements.
Sorry, it was the Pepto.
I chugged the whole gallon. What?
You were only supposed to have a cup.
A gallon? Where did you even find a gallon of Pepto?
I had to beg.
I had to beg. The Reaper's overbearing presence is a far greater deterrent to the black roots of crime in our capital. Hi, Astrid. I keep hearing her. That's... And whilst I may not agree with your methods, there is at least one point on which I would readily commend you. What an honor. And that would be... your eye for a good lawyer, sir. Mr. Sholmes.
Blush.
After all, behind this lawyer there's a very great mind. My own, of course. What are you trying to say? I wish only to say that you should be prepared for quite a trial, Mr. Reaper. Meh. You have something there on your coat. Meh, sorry to barge in. I'm not Skeletor. Gina! What's that on her arm? It's a morning band, I suppose, but it's the mid-afternoon. Bubsh. Father, shouldn't you be at this symposium? It's been postponed, so I have some free time. I decided to come along with the police inspector to see our country's up-and-coming student in action. Me? No, Kazuma. I shall be interested to see the fruits of your studies over the past year.
Oh, I suck.
Well, it's an honor to have you here. Let's hope there are some fruits to see. Oh, no. Oh, yes, Gina? Why'd you agree to this, eh? Why'd you take him on?
I'm gonna shoot you.
I'll shoot you for real this time, not for funsies. This Reaper bloke, everyone says it was him. What killed the boss? Sorry, I wasn't used to the fucking Cockneyisms. I'm sorry, Gina, but I just don't believe that. Well, if it was him, who was it? I don't know. Yet. To be fair, I barely investigated yesterday. Most of my time was spent begging Van Zeeks to let me advocate for him. So much that...
You haven't investigated?
You haven't investigated? Oh, actually, why am I surprised at this point? I don't care who calls him what. Wait, I don't care who called... No, I read that right the first time. Rape is just a name. He's just a person at the end of the day. And if it turns out it was him what killed the boss, then God help him. Meh. Her face. Fiery eyes indeed. She just fucking puts his hand on her forehead and she just tries to wave her arm. And why, stop it. You're too tiny for this. The culprit deserves every ounce of your loathing. Oh! At least that may be some solace to the deceased.
She starts bawling. I don't know how to deal with this.
How do I process and support human emotion?
Aren't you the prosecutor? Aren't you supposed to be consoling the deceased's family?
No. No, that was always correct, Sinceria. Please, Ovdo. Get whoever did this for the boss. Oh, Gina. And shove your fist right up his arse. I ain't feeling this useless, but there's nothing I can do. So you gotta find who done this and make the wretch pay. Counsel for the defense and the defendant. Court will be in session shortly. Make your way to the courtroom at once, please. Alright then, here we go. It's time, Mr. Naruto. Lord Van Zeeks. I have ears, I heard. I'm a ghost now.
Oh, that's hard on my eyes. That's even worse.
All that misfortune, all that pain, on course to collide headlong in this trial. It's time to shine a light on all these dark events. Meh, and I'm here too, Mr. Naruto. We're going to have to look it straight in the eye. It was me. I'm the murderer. What?
It was Skeletor, the bailiff.
Meh.
We gambled. He owed me money.
He owed me money. In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, blah, 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 blah. I hereby declare this court to be in session. We are here to conduct the fair and just trial of the defendant Barrack Van Zeeks. Counsel for the defense and prosecution, are you ready to begin? The defense is ready, my lord. The prosecution is more than ready. Ah, okay. Oh, Kazuma-sama, he's so handsome, sexy, and one-ups you at every turn. Okay, Susanoo. Okay. Wait, where's my mouse? What happened to my mouse? I
been wishing to see you in court again for so long it feels. But I never pictured it happening like this. I stole your mouse.
I thought it was gonna be Lord Van Zeke's just holding on to it like, you
What
are
is
my
this
comfort mouse.
You are the only one I trust, tiny mouse thing. I never thought I'd be facing you behind the prosecution bench.
This so-called Reaper of the Belly has been a scourge like no other, undermining Her Majesty's justice system. Today we must uncover the truth behind this scourge.
In other words, his trial is going to be a lot more far-reaching than Inspector Gregson's murder.
Truth revealed by these proceedings may have unpredictable repercussions to the judiciary. Accordingly, they are to be conducted as a closed trial with no members of the public present, by Her Majesty's direct orders.
How will that work, my lord?
Wow, you're stupid. The burden of all arbitration and adjudication falls on my shoulders. Lucky you. The juror's bench shall remain vacant today.
Thank God. I don't want to have to make up 5 more voices.
What did you say? Mr. Naruto?
If no members of the public are present, might I ask who is currently occupying the gallery, my lord? Who are these people behind us?
They are members of the judiciary, here to witness proceedings and ensure an equitable trial.
Oh my god, my mouse is back!
Lord Van Zeke gave him back.
Here you go. This is a very unusual trial already.
There is, of course, another unprecedented aspect to these proceedings on which I must elaborate. The counsel for the prosecution and the defense are both aliens.
What? Beep beep. I believe it takes an outsider to see the truth sometimes. And as I stand here in this courtroom now, I'm quite certain. This is the reason why I had to come to Britain. Kazuma?
My mouse disappeared.
Who keeps taking my mouse?
Let us commence proceedings. Mouse or no mouse? Prosecutor Asogi, your opening statement, if you please.
Certainly, my lord. My underwear says this incident took place on the 1st of November, just after 5 o'clock. I'm glad we both had to think about that for a second.
I'm sorry. That was just perfect.
He reaches toward his crotch and just pulls it up. Just after 5 o'clock in the afternoon. The location was a building of flats on Fresno Street, on the outskirts of the city. The victim's body was discovered.
Should we take an edible? Do you want to take an edible?
Go grab one. I'm gonna take mine when we're a bit further in.
Okay.
Oh. Ah, cramps!
Mm-hmm.
The victim's body was discovered there in an old single-room rental property.
Yes, Inspector Tobias Gregson. A name known very well indeed to this court. Not least for his miraculous resolution of one of this country's grimmest cases 10 years ago.
I'm so glad that everybody knows about this all of a sudden, and nowhere has this been brought up before this point. How sure are you about the time of that incident? My underwear says, several witnesses on the street outside heard the gunshot and have all reported the same thing. Yes, that's what Gina told us too. There were a number of witnesses. I have here a plan of the room. The victim was found curled up in one corner. Huh? Anyway, it's believed that he was shot from the front at point-blank range and died instantly.
How has the range been determined?
There were scorch marks around the entry wound. Such marks are caused by the gunpowder used to fire the bullet. but powder hot enough to leave scorch marks is only ejected a few inches beyond the end of the barrel. In other words, it only happens when the target is at point-blank range. I see, yes. Thank you for the detailed explanation, Counsel. Excellent. The murdered weapon was found lying beside the victim. And have you managed to ascertain the owner of this firearm? No, my lord. Not conclusively. Brava, Kasuma-sama, for not trying to use the gun as evidence when its provenance can't be proven. Furthermore, my lord, as I've explained, the revolver was fired at extremely close range. The bullet passed through the victim and struck the wall behind him, killing an innocent candle. There is a candelabrum mounted on that wall, and the tip of one of the candles in it was found to have been blown off by the projectile. We noticed that too, didn't we? Yes, that's right. Thank you for the thorough report, Counsel. The setting of the crime is clear to me. You will submit the plan of the crime scene as evidence. Please. Thank you for your manners, my lord. The crime scene floor plan has been entered yet. Is this Fresno Street, Inspector Gregson's private abode? No, my lord. The room is rented to a Mr. Hugh Bone. Huge Bone, but there is precious little furniture inside, and it is generally in a poor state of repair. So what on earth was Gregson even doing there? Presumably he was investigating some case or other. When a policeman was informed of the gunshot from the witnesses and rushed to the scene, he found only the deceased inspector and the accused standing alongside, holding the revolver. Oh, yeah.
You want me to start that?
Yeah.
Okay.
The attending officer...
Anything, like, big happens.
Yeah, I'll let you know. The attending officer arrested the accused on the spot. So the details of the case are clear. In that case, the prosecution would like to call its first witness. A name, please, Counsel. Naturally, the accused himself. Lord Van Zeeks! As a prosecutor, he believes in the oath of office he's taken, and will be compelled to tell the truth. Very well. Let the defendant take the witness stand. So something that we didn't know before, apparently Van Zeeks was found holding the revolver.
He was?
Yeah.
Oh.
So, that's new information. They kind of glanced over that, but... So, witness, state your name and occupation for the court.
Barrick Van Zeeks, Old Bailey Prosecutor.
Oh, that's a nice change of pace. I presume, Lord Van Zeeks, that you heard Prosecutor Asogi's opening precis?
I did.
It is alleged that you were found at the scene of the crime, and that you were arrested by the arriving police officer. Can you confirm this?
Yes, my lord.
Then I'm sure the court would like to hear you explain some things away. Namely, why you were there in the room on Fresno Street at the time in question, and what exactly took place.
I intend to explain away nothing! Nothing!
Wait, did you seriously not explain anything?
I will simply tell the truth.
I must say, Lord Van Zeeks, I never imagined this day would come. Or rather, I didn't want to imagine it would come. But since you became known as the Reaper, a part of me has been dreading it. Your formal testimony, then, witness.
I was investigating Gregson, and my inquiries had led me to that address. When I first entered the room that day, it was dark inside and I saw no one. A moment later, I heard the gunshot. I spun around and saw the revolver on the floor. Just as I picked the firearm up to examine it, the door flew open and I heard the man scream. It was only then that the body of Inspector Gregson appeared before me. That told me was the whole truth. It was.
You really get into me. You have an axe. Are you trying to imitate Cosmo by having a weapon on you?
Maybe.
I mean, he is quite handsome.
He does have a massive, wait, is there a euphemism for your trouser snake that's a weapon? I can't think of one.
So, you heard a shot being fired
Massive
in the room.
gonads.
Massive gonads, yes. With no living occupants. And moments later, a corpse somehow appeared before your eyes. Is that it? You're right. You haven't explained away anything. In fact, that would barely qualify as an excuse. That's... I thought you were my mute apprentice. Yet it turns out you have a way with words, Prosecutor Asogi. It would appear to be a singular tale indeed. Singular isn't the word, it's laughable. What's got into Kazuma? He's not behaving like himself at all.
He's angry.
Angie Kazuma. Dark Kazuma.
Very well then. Counsel, you may begin your cross-examination.
Even though he is wearing white.
Dark Kazuma. Kazuma Black. Yeah, this does not explain anything. So, he was investigating Gregson, entered the room, it was dark inside, saw no one. He heard the gunshot, spun around, saw the revolver on the floor. Just as he picked it up, the door flew open, heard a man scream, and then that the body it appeared.
So did the body fall through the door?
I have no idea. And I'm sure that we have to press everything because it seems like... So, like, he picked up the gun.
So it's kind of like what we had, where we picked up the gun and then there was a shot.
Yeah. I don't know. Well, no. He says specifically that he heard the gunshot and saw it.
Well, let's start pressing.
I'm just going through this again real quick. So, we actually have a layout, actually. I'll show you.
Oh yeah, let's go to the layout.
So, it actually doesn't show it, but the gun was found here. So I'm imagining he entered the room, came over to pick up the gun, and then he heard a man scream. So he was literally, what he's saying is basically correct. He literally was looking in the direction of the body then, and it would have just appeared in front of him. That's the most interesting part, because it's like, there's no like, he turned to look at the door as it opened, and then when he turned back, the body was there, like it could have fallen from the ceiling, like a breakaway trap door or something.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's like
the candle. Like,
I don't know.
the candle is a key.
My point...
the
candle is a key that unlocks the corpse!
And inside the corpse is another key!
No, my point is that what he's saying is basically correct by the logic so far, is that his body literally must have materialized in front of him. Okay. So why were you investigating Gregson, I wonder? You were investigating the inspector? What on earth for?
I'm not at the liberty to say.
Sorry, you kind of mumbled that.
I'm not at liberty to say.
Oh, thank you for...
I've identified a distinct possibility that Gregson was involved in a case I was investigating. Regrettably, though, he was killed before I could secure the proof I needed.
Is the court understanding that on the day in question you followed the victim to the scene?
No, I was privy to his movements in advance.
How?
I stole into his office in the yard and consulted his diary. The address on Fresno Street was noted in the 5 p.m. entry. You illegally entered the man's office. In Japan, that alone would constitute a very serious offense.
Well, thank God we're in England, where nobody gives a fuck.
As it does in Great Britain, I assure you. Is that not the case, Lord Van Jinks?
I was aware of the possible consequences.
So in summary, you were investigating the victim, and yet, you refuse to tell the court why.
The Queen will not allow it.
Meh.
I didn't realize British prosecutors enjoyed such freedom to choose what to divulge under oath. Why did I ever think I could defend this man?
Hold it!
Hold it.
Stop it.
Have you ever been to the address before?
No, never. I only learned of the place as a result of my investigations into Gregson's activities. There was no light inside when I entered, so it was all but impossible to make anything out. Make out with anything. To make out.
But at 5 p.m., the sun would have only just have gone down. It would still have been reasonably light outside.
The room has a window, but it was boarded shut. Were you not there yesterday? Very little light found its way into the room from outside, so it was extremely murky inside. I wouldn't have noticed if the victim was already lying on the floor.
There was no artificial light in the room, you say? You're quite sure?
I'm quite sure that the part of the room where their body was found was very dark. I have a feeling there was a small oil lamp burning on the desk, though I couldn't say for certain.
Look, Mr. Naruto, a small oil lamp. Zoop. There is a small desk in the room just here. Yes, I remember, and there was an oil lamp on it, as well as the framed photograph.
When I entered the room, I closed the door behind me and started towards the desk to investigate.
And what did you find?
Nothing. I never actually reached the desk. I heard the gunshot, I spun around and saw the revolver on the floor.
Hold it!
So, who fired the gun?
I don't know. I didn't see anybody else in the room.
Would you say it was very dark in there?
Yes, that's right. All I can tell you is I didn't sense another's presence with my key.
Then could it be that the gunshot actually originated from somewhere outside the room?
No, that's not out of the question.
Oh.
Without doubt, the sound emanated from inside the room. I could smell the gunpowder.
Why didn't you fucking say that?
And you say that's the point at which you noticed the revolver on the floor?
Correct! And I foolishly picked it up. That was carelessness on my part.
Presumably, then, the gunshot you heard came from the firearm that you somewhat hastily took in your hands.
In point of fact, my lord, I believe it did not.
What?
It was still cold.
The barrel of the revolver I picked up was cold, and there was no smell of spent powder.
But then where on earth is the gun that was fired?
Whilst I would like to oblige you with an answer. I'm afraid I can't. I too would dearly like to know that.
Ugh.
Hold it!
A man, you say? One of the witnesses I presume? That's right. One of the street merchants working on Fresno Street.
Who are these merchants?
A number of them had set up their stalls directly beneath the boarded window of the crime scene. A match seller, a newsmonger, and a peddler. They've all given statements saying they heard the gunshot. and without thought of danger, they ran inside to see what had happened. Yes, Gina told us about that yesterday, didn't she? They burst through the door with some force, it would seem.
They did, and almost gave me a heart attack in the process.
But you're supposed to be the Reaper.
The Reaper has a heart.
Surprisingly, yes. The first man to come in immediately noticed a revolver in my hand and ran away. Like a little bitch.
A policeman patrolling on Fresno Street heard the commotion, and was able to arrest the accused shortly after the incident occurred.
Anyway, the man's scream drew my attention in that direction.
Hold it!
What do you mean by that? In what way did the body appear?
I honestly can't explain it, but it's the truth. As far as I was concerned, the body hadn't been there until that point, and then suddenly, there it was.
Did you perhaps hear the sound of the victim falling to the ground just beforehand?
At that moment, what I heard was the sound of the door flying open and the scream of the man who came inside first. Nothing more.
I see.
After the man fled, I examined the body. I was stunned to find that it was Gregson.
I'm sorry.
Most curious circumstances indeed. How the inspector was killed or how his body seemed to appear out of nowhere, I have no idea.
Objection!
Surely the court has heard enough. My lord, the cross-examination has clearly revealed that the accused, Barrack Van Zieks, is lying on multiple fronts. What is that supposed to mean?
Good gracious, counsel. The defense is lying, you say? Whatever for?
In his testimony just now, he claims that he failed to notice the victim's body because the room was dark.
That's correct.
No, that's impossible. As proven by this candelabra, how does that prove anything? If you examine the tip of the long candle, you can see it has been blown off by a powerful impact.
One would assume that the projectile from the firearm passed through the victim and struck the candle.
The problem comes when you consider the other two candles, which are clearly of a different length.
They could also have been lit at different times.
Yes, I can see that. Only the candle that appears to have been struck by the bullet is long.
We could reasonably expect someone to have lit all three candles together, which begs the question of why only one has ended up longer than the others. That must be because that particular candle was extinguished when the others were still burning. Ah! That's right. When the candle was hit by the bullet, it obviously went out, but the other two candles would still have been burning. So the fact is, the victim's body would have been illuminated by the light still thrown by the candelabrum, and the accused's claim that he couldn't see the body clearly contradicts those facts. And now to the next lie. There's more! The accused also claims never to have visited the scene of the crime before.
Boy, is there a picture of you in the room?
What's this picture doing? It's just him, naked,
no.
covered in coke. I don't know where to get the picture. In that almost empty room, the police discovered something very unusual. My underwear! A board covered from top to bottom in police documents and newspaper cuttings. Yes, that's right. We saw it too. It goes without saying that the contents of the police documents cannot be divulged. However, they included a number of reports from various historical cases, the oldest of which was from 10 years ago. 10 years ago? This is starting to sound familiar. And there is a common thread linking all of the documents on that board.
Indeed. What is this common thread, counsel? They are all related to cases prosecuted in court by Barrick Van Zeeks. All of them? And furthermore, all those cases are ones in which the defendant was acquitted. Good lord! Interestingly, none of those defendants are alive today, because all of them have been sent to their graves by the Reaper. Ah!
Now he's insinuating that he's a serial killer.
Oh no. In short, that dingy little room, is the Reaper's secret hideout, and his base of operations. The Reaper's hideout? And yet the Reaper would claim never to have been to his own secret hideout? No one would believe that. No, the truth is, we've been looking at this backwards. Backwards? Explain, Counsel. Inspector Gregson was investigating the identity of the Reaper. When he discovered the location of the man's secret hideout, he was killed. As I'm sure everyone can imagine. By the Reaper's hand. What? What?! Order! 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 Very well. I hereby state the current opinion of the court. Barrick Van Zeeks is an outstanding prosecutor who has rendered great service to his country. However, it is with deep regret that I must concur with Prosecutor Asogi's contention that the defendant's testimony exhibits a number of stark inconsistencies with the known facts. All I have done is state the truth as I know it. Cousin has done a brilliant job as ever. That handsome, handsome man. He's drawing on his experience as a defense attorney to build his prosecution case, and it's formidable. Counsel, the fuck? You will submit the board that you just showed the court as evidence. I believe it to be fundamental in establishing the facts surrounding the Reaper's existence. Thank you, my lord. The notice board has been entered into the court record. Well, now we can read our court cases. And now the prosecution would like to call new witnesses to the stand. Witnesses who saw events unfold on the day in question.
I'm sorry.
You're such a lightweight.
I don't think it's that. I think I'm actually just dehydrated. Because it's not the high tingle. It's like the...
You're gonna make it get something else.
Mm-hmm.
They were mentioned in the previous testimony too, if you remember. It's the street sellers who heard the gunshot and went running into the room. Very well. Lead the witnesses in. The defendant may step down from the witness stand. Certainly, my lord. You're all a bunch of dipshits.